Thank you.
Okay, this story. Are the polls underestimating Trump voters? New York Times reporting its own polls with Siena College likely undercount Trump supporters as polls did in 2020. White Republicans not answering the polls nearly as much as Democrats. Working class voters also not really talking to pollsters either. Look who's here, Trump 2024 campaign surrogate. Former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin joins us again. So what do you make of this development? Are the polls underestimating Trump strength? Are they underestimating GOP voter registration, early voting, and mail-in ballots by Republicans and Trump backers in the swing states? What do you think?
So we'll find out tomorrow, but we're seeing that the national polls are better for President Trump than 4 years ago and 8 years ago. The polls in the battleground states are all better than 4 years ago and 8 years ago. And there's been a lot of top-line coverage of early voting numbers, which, by the way, are better for President Trump and the Republicans than they were 4 years ago. One of the simple ways that some are trying to analyze the early voting numbers is they're showing how many women are coming out to vote early, and they're just forming a conclusion based on that. But what's important is digging just a bit deeper, because what we'll find is it's actually Republican women who are showing up in higher numbers. Democrat women are showing up in lower numbers. So you can't just look at a gender gap with the early voting. I would say that the women, when you look a little bit deeper, it's favoring President Trump as well.
Interesting. Let's listen to Alex Castellanos. He worked on campaigns for Jeb Bush and Mitt Romney. Let's listen to this.
I'm not going to call it a wave, but I think there's a wavelet out there of Republican enthusiasm and registration. What I think they're missing is a massive shift in voter registration underneath all of this. 31 states have voter registration by party. 30 of them in the past 4 years have seen movement toward Republicans. So
it's a wavelet, he said. What do you think of that, Lee? I mean, you look again at Pennsylvania. It is a dead heat. But they've had basically, within the polls for the New York Times margin of error, Trump's ground game is pretty good in Pennsylvania, notably with Latinos. That population has exploded, Lee, over the last decade or so. It's up to more than 1 million residents. About 600,000 are eligible to vote.
Yeah, you're spot on. I was in Pennsylvania yesterday with the Trump team campaign bus tour. I've been in Pennsylvania about 1 to 3 days a week over the course of the last few weeks. You see it on the ground, the shift. And as to Alex's point, the voter registration numbers, those don't lie. That's also shown a shift to the right as well.
Lee Zeldin, a pleasure to see you again. Thanks for joining us.